So I'd like to hear a little bit about your history from you, about how you got into business and how you succeeded in business, and then when you transitioned into politics and to these different causes that you've been involved in. I know that's a long story, but if you can condense it down to a few minutes.
Well, it's funny because, I came from a family that wasn't political in terms of a partisan politics sense,
Mm-hmm.
but was deeply political in terms of causes and movements.
Mm-hmm.
So, I grew up during civil rights and Vietnam. And so if you grew up in the 60s and 70s, those were overwhelming issues for us. And they were deeply emotional issues. And, my parents and my brothers and I were, it wasn't really about party. It really was about where do you stand on the biggest issues of the day. And so we had a family that was deeply committed on those issues and felt like there was a moral aspect to it, and that the United States as a moral country had to be on the right side. And as a citizen, you've got to be pushing on the right side of those issues. And so, that was a huge, I remember growing up when I heard my first song that was not about civil rights or the war. And I was like, whoa, it was a Beach Boys song. And I was like, what's that about? Like, what's that even about? It's like surfing, really? Because I'd never heard a song that wasn't about politics, about values. So I go up, and then I needed a job. So I ended up getting into finance, and investing is like doing puzzles, and I really enjoyed it. And I basically was under the assumption that the American government worked. We weren't perfect, but we were improving. Mm-hmm. And that over time, we would continue to improve in terms of justice and fairness and also effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a Democrat. I worked in the Mondale campaign as a staffer in 1983. I worked for Andrew Cuomo's father, Mario Cuomo, when he was running, I think in 1981. So I was a progressive Democrat, but I was a progressive Democrat basically part-time while I started and ran a business and had a family. And really, I started to see after George Bush became president that, like, whoa, my assumptions that this country's on the right path I'm no longer think that's true. And so I don't want to embarrass myself as a person in front of my family or myself of not participating on the right side of history, of not standing up for what was right. I just thought, wow, George W. Bush is taking us to a terrible, terrible place. So I worked for John Kerry's campaign starting in 2002, really hard, and I assumed he'd win.
Yeah.
And so when he didn't win, no one was as shocked as I was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was convinced the American people could see through George W. Bush.
Went to war with the wrong country. I mean,
like the whole thing. It was like I'd lied to do it.
Yeah, incredible.
So I was like, sure, we would get together on this. So when it didn't happen, I started to do a bunch of other things, in terms of starting a community bank and doing a series of things that had to do with justice, economic justice, environmental sustainability. That's what our bank is about. Kat Taylor and I started it, and it's over $1 billion. We did it. I'm very proud of what we did. And I started to get into climate as well, and I spent a bunch of effort and a bunch of money basically saying it must be a tech problem, because the United States wouldn't do the wrong thing over and over again in a way that threatens every American. So it must be the technology's not good enough, or we don't understand it. So I did a bunch of things about technology and basically nonpartisan research to show dealing with it works. And ultimately I was like, no, it's a political problem.
Mm.
And I started to work in politics much more aggressively in 2010. And then I quit my job at the end of 2012 to say, this is all politics. And I feel a responsibility as someone who's so lucky in his life and has had so many advantages and good luck and success. I now have to, for me to feel good about what I'm doing, I have to try and be on the part of people who are pushing for justice and climate activism and a much more, honestly, realistic and caring America. And so that's, I really, that's why I quit my job to do that. And that's what I've been doing ever since, is to try and figure out, how do we get this transformation away from a political attitude that's just killing us in every way? And so every decision, when reporters ask me, they'll say, what are you going to do about XYZ decision personally? I would say, whatever will have the most positive impact is what I'm going to do. And they always look at me like, well, we know that's not true. I'm like, no, that's actually how I'm doing it. Because I sit here and think right now with you and me talking, we have to be part of a team changing America on November 3rd. It's a win or not. And we need a transformational win. And I want to be part of that team in the most effective way and the most impactful way I can. But it's as a team with you and everybody else who sees we need to make this transformation. That it's critical for us, for our survival, but also for justice, for health, for people to live decent lives and be the society that we always said we were. We're going to do that. Then we got to do that. And this is our big chance. And I think everything I've been doing politically leads up to the next 4 months.